Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome back. We are going to take a quick look again here at Solana, kind of see what's going on. When we left off earlier today, we were hugging this tentative support level, and I advised not to take a long or a short position, mainly because we don't have confirmation. It takes a little while to get there, and unfortunately, we lost that support level. Again, a lot of it is not with Solana just having a bad day. It's mainly because Bitcoin is selling off pretty massive here and came all the way down to this lower fib level here at about 35.6. Okay, so 35,600 is a support level for Bitcoin. Bounced off that level and is tentatively holding at roughly 36 even. So just keep in mind that has a lot to do with the sell-off here. Okay, now Solana is due for a correction, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that this should have happened if it wasn't for Bitcoin, right? But again, we've always got to be mindful of that and pay attention to how Bitcoin is performing. So we'll take a look at that. A few other key factors. We'll look at some backend data here as well. And also, if you are new to the channel, just know I really greatly appreciate you hitting the like button and, of course, commenting as well. Let me know what your thoughts are here on Solana. Are you long? Are you short, heavy? Where are you at? What's your position? Love to hear it. Also, too, make sure you jump on over to our Bitunix phenomenal exchange. No KYC, no VPN required. Use my link, you get some phenomenal newbie benefit rewards, deposit rewards, loot boxes, some cool stuff there. You have to use my link, of course, but cool thing about that is you're going to be eligible for future trading competitions, which are going to start happening more frequently. So be sure to check that out in your own time. So when we look at Solana here, let's just go ahead and jump into the backend data first and kind of work our way down. This is simply put the last 7 days worth of liquidation in this coin. And what it is, it's changed a lot, but also not. In other words, we saw some heavy liquidation levels here when the price wicked up past $64. That was a previous resistance level. Again, you can see that here, right? The most recent high. Typically, most stop losses are put right above that, but typically most liquidation levels are swept, okay? So you got to recognize if it can happen, it will happen, and that's the bottom line. So for right now, though, with us hitting the 68, 69 mark, it should be a little while before we retest that. Okay, we still got a lot of room to grow, but the important takeaway here is that this lower point here at about $50 even is where we have the most amount of liquidation levels left for this coin. Okay, and again, that's a long ways away. I'm not saying we're going to get there, but this is the $50 mark, just to give you perspective. And once again, we have like a few minor liquidations up here, but generally speaking, it would make more sense for this to be tested first than this, but it all depends on what happens next, okay? So let's talk about the big picture, kind of work our way down. On the daily time frame does kind of spell a worst case scenario here. I don't subscribe to this per se, but it does tell us that if worst comes to worst, and just say we hypothetically have a larger Fibonacci table, then we can see here that 36, 42, and 48 might be tested. I think that's a little egregious, but just know for future reference, $45 is a previous resistance level turned support. Okay. Furthermore, we got a nice little reset on our Elliott Wave, or correction, I'm sorry, our TD sequential. So if we do continue to leg up, we're not considered overextended any longer, minus the fact that we are up over 70 on the RSI, but with money flow index being a little bit lower, that does imply we might see the price pull back again a little further. So again, we have mostly bullish signs here, but also some potential shifting in momentum that is disadvantageous to say the least. Again, it's not definitive by any stretch, but it's just kind of like the beginning, if you will. While it may not happen, we got to kind of assume it could happen. All right. Again, best traders are the ones that kind of think about things abstractly. And it's funny, somebody said this earlier today. It really clicked with me that I've heard before, but I haven't thought about it in a while. Is when good traders look for reasons not to take trades, where bad traders look for reasons to take trades. Okay. So again, it's kind of that. In a situation like this, it's probably best to kind of remain idle and not get too aggressive with your entry, okay? Take a look at this here. This is a 4-hour time frame. RSI is getting close to 50. This is typically disadvantageous unless we get a bounce. We did see previously it kind of gave us a false positive where the price came down below and then continued higher, but we did also hit a lower channel on that bull flag pattern, okay? So again, that was a nice, sweet little pattern. Price action continued to break out, hit our highest high there at about 1.272 and has pulled back since. So in this situation here, there's a lot of different things that could happen, but I think this 0.5 level should provide some support for us, roughly $58. That is the halfway mark for Fibonacci based on this recent activity, but also a previous resistance level that was a one-day candlestick close a few months back. So again, all the more reason to expect that to potentially hold. But keep in mind, MACD is now officially diverging, shift in momentum has occurred, and there is more potential for the price to pull back than to go up. If the price does go up, keep in mind, based on Elliott Wave, this being the top, again, hypothetically, if 68.30 was the top, then we will see the price action come down to bounce off potentially this level here and come back up to 0.618, 0.5, or 0.382. So better case scenario in this progression here, this ABC pattern, is to see somewhere between $64 to $62, that little range. Okay, that's kind of a better case scenario. I think that's more realistic, honestly, if the price were to bounce off these levels here, because again, that would put us in this range here. The previous support turns resistance, or that 61.25 might become the new resistance level for us. Okay, so we could presume if the price does bounce, get that little dead cat for the price to come down lower. Would not be surprised by that. Again, Solana, phenomenal project, great opportunities, big picture, etc. The whole 9 yards. It's still a very viable. Just because I'm saying that it should go down doesn't mean I think it's a terrible coin. But truth is, you should never emotionally attach yourself to a coin, because this is trading. This isn't anything else. Whatever else you'd imagine, insert here. In fact, comment below for an equivalent to that. But honestly, I just think it's funny how I get some comments where people are like, this is the best thing ever. How dare you say something like that? Okay, whatever. Obviously, you got a lot of room to grow. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about that. Just the truth here is that we don't have full-on confirmation. Let me explain to you here. When we talked earlier, we're traveling within the cloud or just kind of starting to test it. We had the conversion line switching over the baseline here. In other words, it was roughly at this point where we had this shift in momentum. Okay? The MACD hadn't diverged yet, but our price action entered into the lagging span, or correction, the lagging span intersected within the price action. And that's basically a no-win situation. In other words, you're supposed to close your long position at that time. Thankfully, we took a massive amount of profits ourselves in our long position here, which is what, near 48% audio, 140. Hold on, sorry, Solana, there we go. 14 hours, 56%. So while we have a small position, like maybe 5 to 10% left open, we basically took majority of our profits. And that's what you're supposed to do. Take profit. You got to set a target before you take a trade. If you're just jumping in willy-nilly and getting out whenever you decide you see fit, that's not how to trade. That's what other people show you that they do. It's really not the way that it works, okay? You got to have some kind of structure, and you got to learn from your mistakes too, so make sure you write everything down. What I'm getting at here, though, is this morning I did mention that this level, while it is potential support, may not hold because we are having a green light to close all of our long positions, okay? So that said, where we're at now, what does that mean for us? Well, we're traveling below the cloud here. Barely. We're kind of still within it, so that's technically still a no-buy zone. Lagging span is free and clear, of course, so if you have a short position open, you may as well consider leaving it open. And the conversion line's below the baseline. So this is basically telling us if you have a short open, leave it open. If you're considering a long, shame on you. Do not do that. Okay? Again, just because it's bouncing off what feels like a good support, and it could continue higher. In fact, it probably will because I'm saying this. But I just highly recommend you kind of chill and relax and start thinking about things different. Again, if you want to be a good trader, make sure that you think of reasons why not to take a trade. Okay? Again, I think it was B Rabbit, if I'm not mistaken, one of my subscribers / Discord members. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Well, I have known that, and that's just so much better way to describe it. Okay. Again, look for reasons not to take a trade, and to me, there's enough reasons here not to take a trade that I'm not really willing to. Again, a short might be a stronger consideration than a long at this point, but it's still not enough information here for me to want to go ahead and jump in here. Okay. So I'd much rather wait for another overextension or for it to get further overextended before I take my next long and kind of see what happens next. So when I get questions here a lot about targets to shoot for, honestly, Fibonacci levels are the best way to go. So I would say if you insist on a long position closer to 58, if you're looking to short, you'd probably want to take profit between 56 and 55. I would not recommend shooting for 51, but there's possibilities we could see that as well, depending on Bitcoin's behavior. All right, so again, make sure you watch my Bitcoin videos if you were kind of curious about that. But at this point, no trade is good trade, right? All right, folks, hope that made sense. Please like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, all this wonderful stuff. You want to have a wonderful, phenomenal exchange, be sure to use this link for some awesome rewards and just an exchange that you can use without KYC or VPN requirements there. And just really cool stuff. Thanks again, Bitunix, for providing that to our community. And thank you as well for making this a reality too. You are the person that is watching me, and I greatly appreciate that. And I hope that you have learned something. Comment below if you had learned something. If you haven't, I can assure you, if you consistently watch my videos, you will. I try to ingrain a lot of knowledge every time I teach. Okay? Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.